The Summers family lived a simple, happy life in the small, close-knit village of Willow Creek. John and Emma Summers cherished their two children, Lily, a spirited 8-year-old who loved painting and exploring the countryside, and 10-year-old Ethan, a curious and thoughtful boy who had a fascination with stars and dreamed of becoming a scientist one day. Life in Willow Creek was peaceful. Neighbors knew each other, the kids played freely outside, and the village school was a warm, familiar place. But one day, John received exciting but challenging news. He had been promoted to a senior position at his company's main office in the city. This meant the family would need to move away from the only home the children had ever known. While the parents felt a mixture of pride and excitement for their future, Lily and Ethan were heartbroken at the thought of leaving their friends, their cozy village, and their beloved school behind. When the moving day finally arrived, the children hugged their friends tightly, waving goodbye with teary eyes as they drove off toward their new life in the bustling city. Ethan, who had always been a little shy, felt the weight of the change. He worried about fitting in and wondered if he'd ever feel at home in such a noisy, unfamiliar place. The first few days in the city were overwhelming for Ethan. The traffic, the towering buildings, and the sheer number of people all felt intimidating. When he and Lily started their new school, his fears only grew. The city school was enormous, and no one seemed to notice the quiet boy sitting at the back of the class. Ethan's nerves made him quiet and hesitant, which some of his classmates picked up on. One boy in particular, Ryan, quickly decided that Ethan would be an easy target. Ryan started teasing him, calling him country boy, and making fun of his clothes, which were simpler than what the city kids wore. At recess, Ryan and a few others would push him around, trying to make him lose his temper. Ethan felt lonely and lost, keeping all his sadness to himself, not wanting to worry his parents. However, his parents, John and Emma, could see that something was wrong. They noticed that Ethan had become withdrawn and that his cheerful spirit was fading. One evening, they gently asked him about school, and the truth came spilling out. Ethan confessed everything, the bullying, his worries about fitting in, and his fears of failing in this big new place. John and Emma's hearts ached for their son. They held him close and assured him that he was not alone. Together, they came up with a plan. Every day, after dinner, John and Ethan would sit together and go over his schoolwork, focusing on his love for science and math. Emma encouraged him to join after-school clubs, helping him slowly build his confidence. Little by little, Ethan began to feel his family's unwavering support as he adjusted to his new environment. Over time, Ethan's hard work began to pay off. He excelled in his science and math classes, often surprising his teachers with his insights and dedication. He poured his heart into his studies, using his focus to overcome the daily struggles at school. His teachers began to take notice, seeing the potential in the quiet, determined boy from the village. One day, his teacher, Mrs. Thompson, introduced him to the school's science club, where Ethan found a group of students who shared his interests. Slowly, he began to make friends who appreciated him for his kindness and intelligence. With their support, Ethan started to believe in himself again. The end-of-year exams approached, and Ethan studied harder than ever. He spent hours each night, with his father's gentle guidance, preparing for every subject. On the day of the exams, he was nervous but determined. He sat in his seat, took a deep breath, and gave it his best shot. A few weeks later, when the results were posted, Ethan could hardly believe his eyes. He had achieved the highest marks in the school. His teachers praised him, his classmates looked at him with newfound respect, and even Ryan, the boy who had bullied him, was speechless. Ethan's achievement was celebrated by everyone, but for him, the best part was seeing the pride and joy in his parents' faces. Ethan's success didn't stop there. Inspired by his love of learning and his dream of helping others, he went on to study medicine, eventually becoming a doctor. His journey was challenging, but his parents' constant love and encouragement had given him the strength to persevere through every struggle. Years later, as a respected doctor with a family of his own, Ethan often reflected on his childhood and how his parents had been his strongest supporters, guiding him through his hardest days. He remained close to his sister Lily, who had also found her own way in the city, thriving in her art and creativity. Ethan's story became a testament to the power of resilience, family support, and believing in oneself. And no matter where he went or how much he achieved, he never forgot his roots in Willow Creek, the little village that always remained his true home.